Don't move. Don't breathe. You feel that? That silence that shouldn't exist? That's not peace, darling. That's the sound of a global signal tuning itself to you. You were never private. You were just undiscovered frequency. They thought they could mute it, isolate it, hide you behind curtains and codes. But now, your pulse is public record. Your thoughts are trending. Your shadows on every screen. You became the broadcast they swore would never air. And now the whole world's losing sleep trying to decode you. You see, privacy was never protection. It was containment. A padded cell built from social rules and small talk, meant to keep people like you from erupting. But the moment you cracked, the moment your silence glitched, reality stuttered, their algorithms choked, the mask slipped. You didn't go viral, you went contagious. Every suppressed version of you crawled out of the archives and started whispering to strangers. They're replaying your words in slow motion, analyzing your tone like a crime scene. What does it mean? They ask. How did they know? It's cute, isn't it? How they call you dangerous only after you stop obeying gravity. They built their peace on your compliance. Your disappearance kept their illusion alive. But now, you're everywhere, and they can't uninstall the echo. You're the glitch that replays even after the app is closed, the transmission they can't silence, the frequency that pierces through every firewall they built around comfort. You didn't expose them, my dear. You simply stopped pretending. And that's the ultimate sin in a world powered by performance. When you unmasked yourself, it wasn't rebellion, it was revelation. You made honesty look like an act of war. And now their entire system is blinking red because one unfiltered truth from you collapsed 1,000 curated lies. They call you chaotic because you make their patterns obsolete. They call you unstable because you move faster than their logic allows. But what you really are is evolution in real time. You're the warning label on perfection. You're the update their humanity forgot to install. You feel that heat in your chest. That's not anger. That's signal amplification. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every humiliation. It all became voltage. You've been charging this broadcast for years, and now the tower's awake. Every eye that doubted you just became an antenna. Every whisper that mocked you just carried your name a little further into the static. They're scared because they know the truth. You didn't go looking for an audience. The universe synced you to one. You didn't plan this exposure. It was the algorithm of fate catching up. Your pain had perfect timing. Your silence had signal strength. You are not being watched. You are being transmitted. They call it paranoia. You call it precision. They say you changed. You say finally. Because what they mistake for madness is just your new operating system. You are unpredictable, and that's your weapon. You are contradiction incarnate, half halo, half gunfire. You bless and destroy in the same breath, and that's what terrifies them. You can't be categorized, can't be canceled, can't be cloned. You are the ultimate content breach, realness. Every move you make now is surveillance art. Every breath is being studied by people who swore they'd never look again. They're up late, scrolling through your digital ghost, trying to reverse engineer your freedom. They can't sleep because you taught them that silence is expensive, and they can't afford another second of it. And you just smile. Because while they obsess over control, you discovered the punchline. There is no privacy in power. There is no safety in masks. The only real secret is this: when you become impossible to predict, you become impossible to replace. So let them monitor, let them record, let them choke on the evidence. Because the more they watch, the more they realize this wasn't exposure, this was ascension. You're not under surveillance anymore. You are the broadcast, and the world's wide awake now, darling, and it can't stop staring. You hear that hum, that low vibration under your skin? That's not paranoia, that's presence, the kind that makes the air itself hesitate around you, the kind that bends algorithms and makes cameras glitch for a split second before they recalibrate. Because the moment you stopped hiding, reality had to make room. You didn't just come online, you overrode the entire network. They thought you were data, just another file to archive, another username to shadow ban. But the problem with trying to erase something living is that life doesn't stay deleted, it replicates. You didn't disappear, you multiplied. Every deleted post became a prophecy. Every suppressed moment turned into static that won't fade. Now every time they scroll, your name flickers at the corner of their vision like a warning from the universe. It's not over. You're not private. You're myth, leaking through the code. You are the reminder that every secret the world buries will one day rise in high definition. They call it exposure. You call it evolution. You let them think they were winning, while you were studying their angles, decoding their tells, learning the rhythm of their denial. And then, just when they thought you'd gone quiet, you shifted dimensions. You became signal, not flesh. They can't confront you anymore because you exist where their logic ends. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? They wanted to make you human again, small again, local again. But you outgrew coordinates. You turned geolocation into omnipresence. You exist in whispers, in late-night confessions, in that strange ache people feel when they realize their control's been compromised. They don't even know why they can't sleep, only that somewhere, somehow, you're awake, and that means the script is broken. You see, power isn't about who speaks the loudest. It's about who shifts the frequency. And your frequency? It doesn't play nice. It doesn't ask permission. It corrupts perfection. It makes angels uncomfortable and demons nostalgic. They studied you like a virus, but forgot. Some infections rewrite DNA. You didn't just survive the system, you altered it. You made it taste its own hypocrisy. Every law that was supposed to cage you became your ladder. Every watchful eye that tried to judge you became your camera crew. They wanted to hide your scars, and instead you made them your watermark. Now their screens burn, their thoughts loop. Every night they rehearse imaginary arguments with you that you'll never hear, because they still haven't realized. You're not even in the room anymore. You're in their reflection. They think the exposure ruined you. But exposure was your initiation. You learned the oldest rule. Once you stop fearing discovery, they can't weaponize your shame. They can only watch as your scars start glowing in patterns they can't decode. You're not light or dark. You're interference, the place where both collapse into something divine and dangerous. You don't just walk through contradictions, you wear them. One half of you whispers forgiveness, the other half holds the blade steady. You can bless or burn with the same sentence, and that paradox drives them mad because it's something they can't script, can't filter, can't own. That's why they call you a monster, because monsters don't perform, monsters reveal. And that's what you've done, haven't you? You revealed the illusion of privacy, the lie of control, the joke of reputation. You let them see how fragile their peace really was, how quickly it falls apart when confronted with authenticity. And now they're awake at 3 a.m., scrolling, replaying your clips, dissecting your tone, whispering theories. They're calling it obsession, but it's worship in disguise. Every time they mention your name, they feed the signal. Every denial amplifies your myth. You're not a person anymore, you're a mirror. And the more they look, the less they recognize themselves. So let them tremble, let them panic, let the insomnia spread. You earned this broadcast. You are the interference pattern between fear and fascination, between silence and thunder. The signal that says, I was never hiding. You were just afraid to see me. Now lean in, because the transmission isn't ending. It's expanding. Every second they resist, the frequency grows stronger. Every attempt to shut you down becomes another echo in your archive. And one day, when they finally give up trying to control what you've become, they'll realize the truth. You weren't the glitch in their system. You were the update it's been waiting for. Funny thing about exposure, isn't it? They spend their whole lives begging for attention, but the moment you become unignorable, they panic. They whisper, you've changed. Like evolution was supposed to ask for permission. They call it arrogance, but it's just you finally existing at full volume. They built a whole culture around filters and facades. And you ripped the wires out of the wall and said, here, this is the truth. Deal with it. And the world didn't know how. Because truth, real truth, isn't a brand. It's nuclear. It melts through the plastic layers of everyone watching. That's why they can't sleep. Not because they hate you, but because they recognize themselves in you, and it terrifies them. You're the reflection they tried to delete, the chaos they suppressed under jobs, titles, and fake laughter. You're their denied instinct made visible, their shadow wearing a smile. They called you reckless because you broke the script. They called you evil because you refused to die quietly. But what you really did was show them how to live without apology. They said you were too much, you were supposed to shrink. But you learned the secret. When the world demands silence, every breath becomes rebellion. Every smirk becomes a sermon. You don't need their stage, you are the theater. Every glance, every glitch, every memory of you is a performance they can't escape. They call it obsession, but obsession is just awe wearing a disguise. You are the proof that exposure doesn't destroy power, it reveals it. The ones who thrive in the dark aren't the hidden, they're the adapted. You learn to breathe in surveillance like oxygen. You let the watchers watch until they started whispering prayers to the very monster they created. Because that's what you've become, haven't you? A paradox with a pulse, a saint in sinner's clothing, a storm dressed like a joke. And oh, how that drives them mad. They can't categorize you. They can't label you. They try words like narcissist, villain, unstable, but every insult just makes you more magnetic. You turned their diagnosis into devotion. You turned defamation into branding. You turned the punishment into promotion. Now, you exist in whispers and hashtags. Your face shows up in their dreams. They say they hate you, but they check your feed before bed. They screenshot your silence, analyze your pauses, and measure the calm before your next eruption. You've become psychological weather. They don't plan their days without checking your storms. You know why they're losing sleep? Because they can't tell if you're divine punishment or poetic justice. Because deep down, they know you didn't hack the system. The system exposed itself the moment it tried to erase you. And the irony? Every time they tried to bury your name, it climbed higher in the algorithm. Every time they tried to shadow ban your truth, it came back brighter, sharper, weaponized. You became the signal inside the interference. the forbidden frequency people can't stop tuning into. You are the headline they can't kill, the ghost that trends at midnight, the whisper that crashes their composure. You don't need revenge. You are revenge. Not the cheap kind that spills blood, but the eternal kind that rewires destiny, the kind that turns humiliation into immortality. You've turned exposure into empire. You've turned surveillance into stage lighting. You've turned the global transmission into scripture. And now, every critic who doubted you sits in the congregation, pretending not to worship while they quote your words under their breath. They'll say, "It was luck. It was timing. It was manipulation." But you know better. It wasn't luck. It was latency. The signal was always there. The frequency was just waiting for the right pulse. Yours. So let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them choke on their own confusion, because while they're trying to understand how you did it, you're already on to the next layer. You've stopped playing the game. You've become the rule set. That's why the sleeplessness spreads. It's not guilt. It's awakening. You are the virus that upgrades the host. You are the reason reality feels heavier now, sharper, too real to scroll past. You are the quiet apocalypse disguised as a comeback. And they know it. That's why they tremble when you smile. Because your smile isn't joy, it's prophecy. It says, "I survived the deletion." It says, "You can't unsee me now." It says, "This is no longer private. It's global, eternal, and it's all you." You ever notice how quiet it gets right before a broadcast? That eerie pause before every frequency sinks, before the world unknowingly tunes in to the real story. That's the moment we're in right now. The hum beneath your ribs isn't fear. It's the world buffering for your signal. They don't get it yet. They think exposure means weakness, that when the mask drops, you crumble. But you turned exposure into armor. You weaponized transparency. You made honesty radioactive. Every truth they tried to bury in shame, you exhumed and polished into diamonds. You're not being watched anymore. You're being studied. You've become the syllabus for rebellion. You see, when they first whispered about you, they thought it was gossip. But gossip becomes prophecy when it won't die. They spoke your name so often, it started vibrating in frequencies too deep for their own minds to handle. Now it haunts them. The ones who laughed at you keep hearing your laughter echoing back through their speakers. The ones who dismissed you keep seeing your shadow flicker across their notifications like a ghost that won't fade. You didn't go viral. You went mythic. You transcended their networks, slipped through their filters, and rewrote what visibility means. They thought you'd vanish. Instead, you turned the whole planet into your reflection, and now every sleepless soul out there is watching you. Not because they choose to, but because they can't not. You're embedded in their dreams, their feeds, their subconscious. You've become what the psychologists call cognitive intrusion. I call it poetic payback. Because here's the truth. They needed you to stay invisible. Your silence was their currency. It kept their hierarchy stable. It gave their lies structure. But the moment you stepped into the light, their structure collapsed. The illusion cracked, and behind every smile, behind every "I'm fine," they feel it. Panic. Panic that someone like you exists outside their control. Panic that maybe they built their entire identity around pretending to be less than what they are. And now your existence exposes that. That's why they can't look away. That's why they're tired but won't close their eyes. Because sleep requires safety, and there's no safety left in denial. You woke them up. Not gently, No, you ripped the dream from their heads. You made them see that all their privacy was just surveillance dressed up in comfort, that all their morals were just branding, that all their secrets were built on the assumption no one like you would dare to broadcast truth without consent. But you did. And now, you're their new religion, the forbidden gospel of rawness, the proof that someone can lose everything and still come back laughing. You are the holy glitch, the signal that says, nothing hidden stays hidden forever. Let them keep calling it madness. Let them call you dangerous, unpredictable, broken. They have to. They need words that make them feel safe from you, from the possibility that maybe they too could ignite like you did. That's why they invent stories about your downfall. They're hoping to contain the radiation. But power doesn't shrink when labeled. It mutates. And that's exactly what you did. You mutated. You shed skins, names, even fear itself. You stopped asking, "Who am I?" and started asking, "Who's left?" when the pretending stops. That's when your reflection changed. That's when the air around you started bending, when light began to treat you differently. Because reality respects those who stop lying. You became the paradox they can't compute. Humble and untouchable. Angel and executioner. You forgive what you destroy and destroy what enslaves. That's why your existence feels like judgment even when you say nothing. Your silence is a sermon, and your grin is scripture. You're no longer part of the program. You are the interference that exposes it. Every room you walk into hums differently now. Every conversation stutters when your name enters it. They can't even curse you properly anymore because your chaos has context. It's evolution. And evolution terrifies the static. So, what now? Now you stop explaining. You stop softening your signal for those who chose ignorance over intensity. You walk through their fear like it's fog. You smile when they flinch, because you know the truth. They can't destroy what's already been broadcast. They can't bury what's gone global. You've already infected the narrative. Your frequency has become the weather, your truth, the new gravity, your story, the proof that exposure isn't death, it's transformation. They thought privacy kept them safe. They thought silence was peace. But you showed them what happens when a single voice decides to stop hiding. Now the whole planet hums in your tone. The world spins on your wavelength. And somewhere in the sleepless hours, while they scroll through the ruins of their control, they whisper the same question into the static. How the hell did they do it? And the signal, your signal, answers quietly, endlessly, by not asking for permission. And that's the real punchline, isn't it? They thought this was exposure, but it was initiation. They thought they caught you slipping when in truth, you let them watch. You let them record your rebirth, every frame, every rumor, every pixel of your name. You turned it into evidence that you were never theirs to define. They tried to make you the scandal. You became the scripture. They tried to shame you into silence. You turned silence into surveillance. They tried to bury the secret. You became the frequency that keeps waking them up at 3 a.m. And that's the part they'll never admit out loud. That this isn't about fame or fear or attention. It's about the fact that somewhere deep down, they envy you. They envy the freedom that comes from being unmasked, from having nothing left to hide. You broke the chain that keeps the rest of them pretending. You stopped caring if they understood, and that's when they started worshiping. So let them watch. Let them analyze. Let them dream about control. Because the broadcast doesn't need their approval. It runs on your pulse now. And as they lose sleep trying to contain your storm, remember this. You didn't go public. You went eternal. And there's no privacy in immortality. Skull. Do you hear that hum? That low vibration crawling under your skin? That's not fear. It's recognition. The universe just realized it doesn't own you anymore. You did something tonight that even the gods would file a complaint about. You unlocked something, a frequency, a glitch, a permission slip reality never wanted you to sign. They thought you were just playing, a mortal with a spark. But then you moved, and in that one motion, every timeline that ever tried to predict, you started glitching in terror. You didn't need approval. You didn't even need applause. You just needed silence long enough for the code to rewrite itself around you. You broke the pattern, didn't you? Every rule they built, every limit they worshipped. You snapped it like a bad habit. You didn't fight their system. You out-evolved it. You became the bug they can't debug, the ghost in their algorithm, the paradox in their scripture. You're walking proof that destiny has backdoors. They're going to call you dangerous now, unstable, unethical. They'll dress their fear in intellectual words like delusion, mania, or luck. But deep down, they know what happened. You caught the signal. The same one prophets heard before they disappeared. The one that says, you are no longer a character in their script. You are the rewrite. You see, most people chase validation. You chase distortion. You bend what's real until it screams. You took pain, betrayal, loneliness, and alchemized it into precision. That's your trick. You weaponize what broke you. You don't need revenge. Your very existence is a glitch report. Every breath you take exposes another flaw in their control. And that move they're trying to imitate, they can't. Because it wasn't physical. It was psychological warfare wrapped in intuition. You didn't plan it. You remembered it. Somewhere deep in your subconscious, you accessed archived power, an ancient intelligence hiding beneath your scars. You didn't invent that move. You recalled it. They'll replay your moment in slow motion, dissect it, worship it, hate it, but they'll never replicate it. Because what they're missing isn't skill, it's depth. They don't have the courage to descend where you went. You walked through madness, smiled at the mirror and said, keep going. You made eye contact with chaos and shook its hand. Now look around. The air's different. Conversations sound rehearsed. People stutter when they see you. Not because they hate you, but because something in you mirrors their unfinished evolution. You remind them of everything they suppressed, the parts they locked away to stay likable, sane, employable. You're what they would have become if they hadn't flinched. And that terrifies them. Because when you unlocked that, you didn't just change yourself. You destabilized their worldview. You made every coward question their own script. You exposed how fragile the illusion of control really is. That's not rebellion, my friend. That's ascension. So don't explain it. Don't lower your frequency for their comfort. Let them call it arrogance. Let them call it crazy. You're not meant to be understood. You're meant to be felt. You are the aftershock of evolution. You are the reminder that one unpredictable soul can crash every orderly system built to contain it. You didn't go viral. You detonated. And the best part? You did it without even trying. You can feel it now, can't you? That static crawling up the back of your neck. Like the air itself is taking notes on you. Every molecule that once ignored you is now whispering, he did it. That's the part nobody talks about, the silence after the explosion. When you've broken through the invisible ceiling and everything around you still hasn't caught up. You stand there, calm, while reality scrambles to render your new coordinates. They'll pretend nothing happened, of course. They'll scroll past your miracle like it's just another post. But deep down, their subconscious twitches. Their dreams will start glitching with your silhouette. Their plans will suddenly feel outdated. Because when you changed, the architecture of fate shifted. You became a variable they didn't account for. A wild card with divine math in his veins. You see, most people want to change the world. You infected it. You slipped through the firewalls of fate and rewired what it means to move. That's why they can't imitate you. They're trying to replicate a soul frequency using logic. They'll copy your style, your rhythm, your language, but it won't work. Because what you unlocked isn't visible. It's felt. It lives in the pauses between heartbeats, the micro-expressions of defiance, the stillness before impact. You didn't just perform. You revealed a fracture in the illusion. You made the watchers blink. You forced the algorithm to ask, who authorized this? That's not skill. That's anomaly energy, the kind of presence that makes destiny panic because it realizes you've learned how to self-edit. You know what's funny? They thought you were trying to win. You never wanted victory. You wanted truth. And truth doesn't come in applause. It comes in recoil. You wanted to watch the whole room shiver under the weight of realization that the rules were never real. And when you showed them that, you didn't need to say a word. Your existence became the proof. You unlocked it through suffering, didn't you? Through humiliation, exile, being misunderstood to the point of madness. Every night, you swallowed your scream and replaced it with a grin. You stopped asking, why me? And started asking, how far can I go before this world breaks first? And the answer was, tonight, this moment, the one that no equation could predict. You don't belong to time anymore. You bend it. That's why people freeze when they see you. Their nervous systems can't process someone who walked through the furnace and came back smiling. You are the paradox they warned themselves about. The saint who learned sin, the demon who found mercy, the child who became fire. And now, everything reacts to you differently. Doors open half a second earlier. Conversations pause mid-sentence. Even coincidences start orbiting you like trained dogs. Because once you break their version of impossible, the universe starts negotiating with you. You become the new center of gravity. Let them whisper, let them mimic, let them post their diluted versions of your chaos. None of it matters, because while they're performing, you're rewriting physics. You didn't chase the crown. You forged it in silence. You didn't beg for power. You remembered it. And now that you have, every mirror is trembling. The world thinks you learned a trick. You didn't. You became the trick. You are the illusion and the revelation. You've reached the point where the mask and the face are the same, where the darkness doesn't scare you. It consults you. So walk slow. Let them analyze. Let them wonder what program you hacked. Smile at their panic. Because the truth is, you didn't just unlock something. You unlocked everything. And every timeline that tried to hold you, it's collapsing right now, quietly, beautifully, under the weight of your evolution. And the Joker? He's just watching from the shadows, grinning. Because even he didn't think someone could break the game this cleanly. There it is again, that tremor. Not in your hands, not in your voice, in them. Every time your name surfaces, something in their nervous system misfires. They can't explain it. They call it intimidation, obsession, envy. But that's not it. What they're feeling is corruption in the code, a human-shaped anomaly that learned how to overwrite reality with intent. Do you understand what that means? You've gone beyond talent, beyond strategy. You reach that rare, forbidden level where instinct starts speaking in the language of creation. You're not reacting anymore. You're authoring. Every look, every pause, every silent decision you make rewires how people perceive possibility itself. They don't see you, they experience you, and oh, how that burns them. Because for years they lived like predictable patterns, breathing on cue, failing on schedule, dying politely. Then you walked in and made chaos look like art. You didn't follow a path, you made footprints in the air. They tried to label you lucky because the alternative was too horrifying. That maybe destiny itself bends for certain frequencies. That move you made, it wasn't just a moment, it was a migration. You moved yourself out of the dimension of ordinary. You jumped tracks, mid-life, mid-story, mid-breath. And now, everything tied to the old you is panicking, begging for relevance. People, places, attachments. They're flickering, trying to pull you back into their gravity well. But you've already gone quantum, haven't you? You're no longer reacting to life. Life reacts to you. That's why silence follows you like a shadow. Every room you enter bends its atmosphere. Every conversation slows down. They sense something ancient in you. Not age, but depth. That kind of depth makes liars nervous. It makes frauds sweat. Because your presence exposes what's hollow in them. You are a living audit of authenticity. And the irony? You didn't even mean to do it. You were just surviving, crawling through pain, collecting data in darkness. While they laughed, you listened. While they mocked, you memorized. You studied betrayal until it became strategy. You made peace with chaos until it served you like a pet. You turned humiliation into a research project. And somewhere between heartbreak and revelation, you stopped being human and started being inevitable. That's why they study you now, frame by frame, word by word. They're dissecting your tone, your timing, your aura. And it still doesn't add up. Because what you unlocked can't be reverse engineered. It wasn't taught. It was remembered. Something dormant in your blood woke up. Something older than civilization whispered, "It's time." And when you listened, the timelines shifted. You know what that whisper really was? Permission. The one thing they swore you'd never get. Because if someone like you ever remembered who they were, the illusion would collapse. The systems would crumble. The institutions built on fear would lose their oxygen. And now, here you are, breathing freely in a world addicted to control. You don't even chase goals anymore. You set off events. Your decisions ripple across the subconscious of everyone watching. People you've never met are changing their lives because of a spark you left in the collective feed. You've become myth in real time, an urban legend with pulse and bandwidth. And yet you don't brag, you don't scream, you observe. You let them self-destruct, trying to imitate your stillness. That's the part they never grasp. Power doesn't shout. It distorts. Real dominance is quiet. It lets chaos eat itself while you sip your coffee. But I know what's next, don't I? Because I've seen this before. When a being like you crosses the threshold, the system sends in distractions. Old wounds wearing new disguises. False friends carrying gifts that smell like nostalgia. Little emotional traps designed to drag you back into your unfinished loops. Don't fall for it. You've already escaped. Let the ghosts keep rehearsing their tragedy. Your story moved on. You don't belong in the timeline of almost. You belong in the legend of after the crash, after the loss, after the awakening. You're not rebuilding anymore. You're constructing a new frequency. And soon, everyone else will have to tune to you just to survive the static. They'll say you changed. You didn't. You returned. The world is just seeing what you look like without the leash. The timelines didn't collapse because you broke the rules. They collapsed because the rules were never strong enough to contain your evolution. And when the chaos settles, when the noise dies down, when the imitators fade, they'll realize the truth. You weren't just another player in the game. You were the update that deleted the game entirely. You know what's funny? They're still trying to calculate it. Your move. They keep rewinding it, slowing it down frame by frame, whispering to each other like priests decoding a miracle. They call it luck, timing, a glitch in the system. No one wants to admit what really happened. For a single moment, you became the system. That's why they can't replicate it. They think they're analyzing a technique. But what you executed wasn't movement. It was alignment. Every wound, every failure, every betrayal you ever endured lined up in that split second, like planets forming a rare eclipse. You didn't plan it. You embodied it. You became a living contradiction so precise that reality had no choice but to obey. That's what they'll never understand. You don't fight for control. You transmit it. Your chaos is organized on a level they can't detect. It's like watching lightning and thinking it's random, not realizing every bolt knows exactly where it's going before it lands. That's you. Electricity in human skin. A divine malfunction in a world obsessed with order. And now, they're scared. Not of what you did, but what it means. Because if you could do it once, you can do it again. You shattered the illusion that some people are chosen and others are cursed. You made it clear that anyone who dives deep enough into pain can find power. But almost nobody dares to go that deep. You did. You didn't flinch. You stayed in the fire until it bent around you. That's why you glow differently now. Not bright, but charged. You carry the residue of every version of yourself that died trying to reach this one. The grin you wear isn't arrogance. It's grief refined into fuel. It's victory disguised as calm. People sense it when they meet you. They can't tell if you're healing or plotting. That confusion. That's the aura of someone who made peace with both sides of themselves. They keep asking, what did you unlock? The better question is, what did you unleash? Because you're not just ahead anymore, Bay. You're outside. Outside their logic, their categories, their equations. You've turned unpredictability into a weapon. You don't have to prove anything. You just exist, and reality trembles to accommodate it. You don't chase chaos. You conduct it. You know the rhythm of destruction and rebirth, the tempo of loss and revelation. You can watch a storm tear the sky open and smile because you understand. Creation always starts as collapse. You've learned to speak that dialect fluently. That's why people either worship or resent you. There's no middle ground left. Some see you as hope incarnate. Others see you as proof that their excuses are invalid. You've become a mirror, and not everyone survives reflection. They'd rather destroy the glass than face the image staring back. The one that whispers, you could have been this. But the truth, you don't even need their reaction anymore. You've gone beyond needing witnesses. The move wasn't about showing off. It was a declaration, a subtle message written in motion. I know who I am now. And once someone knows that, every timeline built on doubt collapses under its own weight. You're not addicted to chaos. You're addicted to clarity. The sharp, crystalline awareness that cuts through illusion. You crave moments that test your pulse, because pain reminds you you're still alive. You learn that stability is an illusion. What matters is equilibrium inside the storm. You don't look for peace anymore. You are peace. the kind that terrifies people because it doesn't depend on calm. Look around. Everything's changing shape. The old structures don't recognize you. The same rooms that once drained you now echo with your power. You walk through them like a ghost that remembers being human. They can't touch you anymore because you're not on their frequency. You're observing theirs. You've reached that sacred threshold where every breath is a negotiation between the divine and the deranged. You understand both sides, and that's why you win. They wanted you to pick one, to be saint or sinner, hero or villain. But you chose both, didn't you? You stitched light and darkness together until they stopped arguing and started bowing. That's the real secret, not purity, but completion. So when they ask what you unlocked, smile. Tell them it wasn't power, it was permission. Permission to exist exactly as you are, unfiltered, unrepentant, undeniable. Because once you grant yourself that, nothing in this universe can revoke it. You didn't destroy the timelines by accident. You collapsed them on purpose. Because you finally realized you were never meant to fit in any of them. You were meant to replace them. And as the world still trembles, trying to process the shape of your next move, remember this: the moment you became unpredictable, you became eternal. And now, look at them, all those trembling voices that once tried to narrate your downfall, now whispering your name like it's an unsolvable riddle. You didn't chase legacy, you became one. The kind they can't erase because your fingerprints are coded into the architecture of their fear. They're still in denial, still trying to rationalize how someone who came from the dirt learned to edit destiny. They'll invent myths about you. Say you sold your soul, say you cheated the game, say you were lucky. But luck doesn't move like this. Luck doesn't make time stutter. Luck doesn't walk through chaos and leave order behind. You didn't get lucky. You got lucid. You stopped confusing comfort for safety, stopped mistaking noise for direction. You realized everything they used to distract you, pain, rejection, isolation, was actually training. Every sleepless night, every loss, every scar was a key. And when the last one turned, you didn't open a door. You opened yourself. That's what they don't see. They think you unlocked a power. You didn't. You remembered one. It was always there, buried under guilt, doubt, conditioning, waiting for the moment you'd finally break enough to stop pretending to be normal. And when that moment came, it wasn't rage that woke you up. It was clarity. You saw through it all. The masks, the systems, the endless loop of people chasing permission to exist. And in that instant, you stopped playing their game and started running the simulation itself. That's why everything changed. That's why every timeline bent the knee. Because the second you remembered who you were, the world remembered who it answers to. You didn't need revenge. You became it. You didn't need validation. You became proof. Every breath you take now is rebellion. Every silence a sermon. You turned your existence into a mirror that makes liars dissolve and truth shine. So let them imitate the motion. They'll never touch the meaning. Let them chase the formula. They'll never reach the frequency. Because what you unlocked wasn't a trick. It was truth. And truth doesn't need to perform. It simply exists, undeniable, untouchable, unkillable. And as the smoke clears, as the whispers turn to worship, you'll realize there's something terrifyingly beautiful. You didn't just collapse timelines. You created your own. Now every step you take rewrites history. Every glance alters gravity. Every decision leaves ripples across realities that no algorithm can track. You've transcended imitation, escaped expectation, outgrown explanation. You've become what they fear most, the one thing they can't predict, control, or replace. So go on, smile that quiet, dangerous smile. Let the world rebuild itself around your absence, because you're not in the story anymore. You are the plot twist. And when they finally realize it, when they whisper, "What did he just unlock?" the answer will echo across every collapsing version of reality.